Welcome to this comprehensive journey into the mathematics of multidimensional calculus. Today, we are exploring a fundamental concept, a guide to gradients and partial derivatives. Imagine you are standing on a rugged, mist-covered mountain. The terrain around you is complex, with slopes rising sharply in some directions and descending steeply in others. In one-dimensional calculus, we deal with simple lines and curves, analyzing how a single input affects a single output. However, our physical reality and the mathematical models that describe it, from quantum physics to deep learning, operate in multiple dimensions. To understand this complex whole, we must first look at the parts. We must break down our movement, isolating one direction at a time. This is exactly what partial derivatives do. They form the foundational building blocks of the gradient, giving us a mathematical compass to navigate multidimensional landscapes. By the end of this guide, you will master not only the mechanics of these tools, but their profound implications in the real world. We begin our exploration with Section 1, Multivariable Functions. In classical single-variable calculus, a function f of x maps a single input to an output, visually forming a curve on a two-dimensional Cartesian plane. But when we transition to a multivariable function, such as f of xy equals sine of x times cosine of y, we are no longer drawing a simple line. Instead, we are weaving a three-dimensional surface. Here, the output depends simultaneously on two independent variables, creating the mountain we discussed earlier. The x and y coordinates define our exact location on a geographic map, while the function's output, the z value, represents our altitude at that specific point. As we gently rotate our mathematical landscape, observe the peaks and valleys. The steepness is not uniform. It varies depending on where you stand and which way you face. This complexity makes determining the slope tricky because there is no longer a single slope. There are infinitely many. This brings us to Section 2. What exactly is a partial derivative? If there are infinite slopes depending on the direction we face, how can we mathematically define the rate of change? The answer lies in the principle of Ceteris Paribus, a Latin phrase meaning all other things being equal. To find a partial derivative, we deliberately freeze all variables except one. We slice through our three-dimensional mountain with a perfectly flat conceptual plane. By keeping the y-coordinate completely constant, we eliminate its influence on our function's change. The intersection of this plane and our complex surface leaves us with a familiar one-dimensional curve. This is the essence of looking in one direction at a time. We have reduced a complex multivariable problem into a simpler single-variable one that we can analyze using standard derivative rules. Let us apply this practically in Section 3, the partial derivative with respect to x. By mathematically freezing the y-axis, we isolate our movement entirely along the east-west axis. The orange plane slices our function, and the resulting red curve shows exactly how our altitude changes as we move strictly along the x-axis. When we compute the partial derivative, denoted as partial f by partial x, we treat y as if it were merely a static number, a constant. In our function f of xy equals sine of x times cosine of y, the cosine of y term acts as a constant coefficient. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, giving us cosine of x times cosine of y. This mathematical expression provides the exact slope of the tangent line to our red curve at any given point, measuring our steepness if and only if we move strictly east or west. Now, let us rotate our perspective for Section 4, the partial derivative with respect to y. We repeat our isolation technique, but this time we freeze the x-coordinate. The green plane slices the surface along the north-south axis, generating a new yellow curve. Our movement is strictly along the y-axis. Mathematically, we now treat x as a constant. Returning to f of xy equals sine of x times cosine of y, the sine of x term is now the constant coefficient. The derivative of cosine of y is negative sine of y, which yields our partial derivative partial f by partial y equals negative sine of x times sine of y. This new equation measures the steepness of the terrain when we face strictly north or south. We have successfully broken our complex 3D slope into two distinct manageable 2D parts. Section 5. Building the gradient vector. Having analyzed the parts, it is time to assemble the whole. We transition our perspective to a top-down view, looking directly at the xy plane. The gradient, denoted by the symbol Nabla, is not a scalar number. It is a vector. It mathematically packages our two partial derivatives into a single mathematical object, Nabla f equals fx, fy. By organizing the x-slope and the y-slope into a vector, the gradient encapsulates all local rate of change information at a specific coordinate. It is a mathematical compass built from our orthogonal slices, bridging the gap from one-dimensional changes back to multidimensional reality. The true power of this vector is revealed in section 6, the direction of steepest ascent. The gradient vector possesses a magical property. If you stand at any point on a surface and evaluate the gradient, the resulting vector will always point in the exact direction of the steepest possible upward slope. While partial derivatives restrict us to moving strictly along the axes, the gradient intelligently combines them, determining the optimal diagonal path to climb the mountain fastest. Furthermore, the magnitude or length of this vector tells us exactly how steep that maximum ascent is. If you want to reach the peak as quickly as possible, simply follow the red arrow of the gradient. Section 7 explores real-world applications, most notably in machine learning and optimization. Why do we care about steepest ascents? In modern artificial intelligence, we deal with loss functions, representing error. We don't want to climb the mountain, we want to find the deepest valley to minimize our error. We use an algorithm called gradient descent. By calculating the gradient of the loss function, which might involve not just two variables but billions of parameters in a neural network, we determine the direction of steepest ascent, and then take a step in the exact opposite direction. The magenta arrows trace this iterative descent. Millions of partial derivatives are computed per second to guide the AI model step by step toward the minimum error, demonstrating the immense computational power of the gradient. In conclusion, to understand the whole, we must first look at the parts. Partial derivatives allow us to dissect multidimensional spaces by freezing variables and analyzing one direction at a time. By packaging these distinct rates of change, we construct the gradient vector, our ultimate compass for navigating complex mathematical landscapes. From the classical physics of fluid dynamics to the cutting-edge algorithms training tomorrow's artificial intelligence, the gradient is the bedrock of multidimensional optimization. References for further study include Calculus by James Stewart for mathematical foundations and Deep Learning by Ian Goodfellow for applications in AI. Thank you for watching.